This college baseball picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Bird Dog Shorts. Dominate summer with an amazing pair of shorts and a free Yeti style tumbler when you order over at birddogs.com/pool. That's birddogs.com/pool.
Hey, this is John Smoltz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Oh, just nothing but great sports of the summer, Sean. I will say it was God's eye had a sad day. Not a sad day because it was checking in on all the shows of the great SGPN. Do a little self scouting.
Yeah,
like to call it, watching film on everyone. I should have. I regret not posting the wide shot of you sitting in full boss mode, hands behind the head. But we got it out there. Not a lot of sports to talk about, so we're going back to the college baseball. Well, Sean,
yes,
setting a record most times talking college baseball in one calendar year. So
hey, it's
congrats
fun.
to
College baseball has been electric. I know my theory of just riding all the dogs not working out great. We'll bring on Noah in a second here, but again, for a tournament that's kind of going chalk, these games have still been super exciting.
I have solved college sports before we bring Colby on.
Yes,
because we'll let him react to this. You have your football season into your football championship. Your FCS starts a little later. To avoid some of the bullshit that happens early in the season. Then we get the FCS playoffs after that. We then have March Madness right into college baseball. So you have college sports dominating the spring through, you can call it even championship season. So I'm curious if Colby likes that. Played outdoors, of course.
Colby Dant, aka the Dantabus. What's up, Colby?
I like that idea a lot better than that submarine idea.
Oh, wow.
All right.
What, going underwater in general, or
just an IKEA submarine just trying to run down there? Come on.
Everyone's answer is space over water, right? Like you're not going.
You would much rather die in space than water. 100%.
No, I meant explore. Like, with death being the risk, would you rather explore space or the depths?
100%. I get why the ocean's cool, but space,
space, because you might find like a planet, but
it's also
those like cheesy like Skinamax movies in the early 1990s. You'd find like a planet of like just all naked
beautiful
fucking hot
ladies.
chicks.
Yeah, and that's the same attitude that has us not knowing less about the oceans than space. Congratulations!
What are you gonna do? Hang out with a bunch of fish? You know what I mean?
Might be some mermaids down there.
All right. Before we get to some
or mermen, if that's what you're into. Sorry, Colby.
Mer people.
I've always been perplexed with the mermaid situation on how that's supposed to work.
There is a certain math to it that doesn't really make sense.
We'll just call it mermaid.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
You find a way. I mean, you remember being in high school.
Yes.
Hashtag find a way.
All right. Perfect transition to this week's edition of Real Men of Degens.
SGPN presents Real Men of Degens.
Real men of Degens.
We salute you,
Steve Lemke. That's right. Assistant bowling coach at Stephen F. Austin decided to resign instead of being fired after it was discovered he was having an affair with the student athlete. To make matters worse, he's married to the head coach, Amber Lemke. They had been coaching the team together, 2 national titles. Steve said, quote, "I knew it was kind of a no-no, but there's not a rule saying it can't happen. There's not a law saying I'm going to jail for doing something like this. There's nothing in stone. I guess it's just an ethics code, like we frown upon it. But there's no rule. There's no broken law. I was the stay-at-home dad for 5 years with the kids, while Amber got to go off and coach the team. And when she get back, I'd run practices on top of taking care of the kids while she was back." He's just completely explaining why he had the affair.
Is he making a case that maybe this is why we should have just female teams and male teams?
Well, I was gonna say a couple takeaways here. Colby's been chirping about all the sports that we're going to lose because of the NIL and Title IX being affected by the pro nature of the players in the future.
Oh no, I'm for those sports.
Bowling.
Yeah.
Who knew that there were colleges with bowling teams?
Yes.
Second takeaway.
Student athletes.
Second takeaway. Lemke.
What do you? I mean, just imagine you're a student athlete. And then you're also just like smoking some butts. You got like a corn dog, a couple beers.
Yeah, what is that? Like you just come.
I mean, you can't.
Was that practice, honey?
You can't. You can't bowl sober, right? I'm just imagining.
Did you have a bowling team in high school? We're all from the Northeast, mostly. Colby kind of adjacent, but. Did you have a bowling team in high school? I did.
No, there was a girl in our high school who did go to Arizona State on a bowling scholarship.
Okay,
I looked up her stats one day.
But yeah, I mean, I guess like you watch those pro bowlers. It's electric. Maybe college bowling's fun. Who knows? Maybe there's a tournament we can. There's a bracket.
I'm all on board.
What's that great clip of the guy going, "I am who you thought you were"?
Yeah, Roy Munson or
I mean, it feels like right
out
of Kingpin.
The second takeaway is that Lemke is a name from Kingpin. It feels like.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So this is perfect.
Lemke's definitely something in Urban Dictionary
last key takeaway, and maybe we got to get the merch team working on this, Sean. But Stephen F. Austin, where the F stands for fuck.
I like that.
I like it.
Maybe we just get Stephen F. Austin bowling team shirts in the store.
This next gentleman we're bringing on the show, I'm sure he's done some bowling.
Oh, he's been on a bowling team. Let's ask him.
Michigan native Noah Bieniek from the College Baseball Experience. Noah, give us your bowling background. You've definitely bowled, right?
When I bowl, I try to light up the radar gun. I'll throw it as hard as I can with my right arm. Sling it down there. I think my record's like 22 miles an hour down the lane. However, I did some research on this while you guys were talking. Bowling, like we're talking Title IX here. Bowling is an official NCAA sport for women, and it's an equivalency sport for NCAA scholarship purposes. So you get 5 scholarships per team, 10 women on a half scholarship each.
That's the whole. That's what I'm talking about. This is the dilemma that we're faced with. In the
Sayonara bowling team.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the bowling team is profitable. The stands are just packed. I mean,
crime pays, right? Colby?
Well, yeah, and I'm sure imagine if you're like a 20-year-old chick, you can probably make a lot of money hustling some other bowlers. Like you go into like Muskogee, Michigan, and pretend, oh hey, I'll do a little bowling. You throw a couple gutter balls. You lure someone in, and then all of a sudden you're winning a couple $100 here and there.
Look at this travel too. I see them bouncing around. They had to go to Louisiana. Now Maryland Eastern Shore did have to come to Texas to take on Stephen F. Austin, but they've definitely you do some traveling. It's nice. I think you could thank the football and basketball programs.
Yes.
Oh, I worry about what these fine ladies are. And by the way,
they went to Long Island.
There are where is Stephen F. Austin
in Texas? It's like a crazy city though. I forget the name of it.
They're recruiting. Yeah. They got a girl from Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yeah, they're Texas, Wisconsin.
Are you paying
Minnesota?
You're paying someone to travel to another state to recruit bowlers.
Well, the reason why they're going to Wisconsin is probably an easy trip because the Lady Jack Classic was Stephen F. Austin was in it in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Isn't that where our boys are from?
Yeah.
The
Bratstad.
Yeah.
Bratstad probably has some good. I mean, that's female. If you're a female bowler, there's two things you love: beer and cheese curds. Come on.
Oh no, wait, hold on.
So there's probably some sturdy ladies.
Go check out that Lady Jack Classic.
I was gonna say they're
some brats and some bowling.
They're called the Lady Jacks. Or the Lady Jackers.
Lady Jackers. Oh man, that needs to be a shirt.
And by the way, last bit, the assistant coach, the husband who did all the hard time being a stay-at-home dad.
Yes.
Well, first of all, anyone that claims that that's like a super hard thing to do, like settle down. You're watching a lot of daytime sports highlights.
Also, what else were you I mean, come on. You're watching kids that's holding you back from your job, from your dream gig as assistant bowling coach. Like, come on, you're not curing cancer on the side.
What do you even dial up?
Hold on.
Like,
I just I don't want to say something controversial. I think most of these ladies are adults, and I'll assume that they were all consenting, whoever was involved here. But he's a bowling team coach, and this is in a part of the country that, let's just say, it's not near the ocean, and so bowling, members of the bowling team in the flyover region of the country. And that's the pool he decided to dip the toe in to get blown up in the national media.
I am looking at their schedule and the NCAA regionals, which happen in April every year. Noah, there's they're aired on Bowl TV. Bowl TV.
Bowl.tv.
So we might have to have.
Is there a calendar we could maybe support?
And they also go to Vegas a lot. It seems like.
Well, that's that's when the
Bowl TV's a subscription purpose. Put it right there next to Flow Sports.
Oh, all right. I'm
the lady. Look at that lady Jacker.
Bruising the. I mean, honestly, maybe she's a sophomore too. Wow, could be an offensive guard. Definitely. I mean, I don't know what her times are in the 3-cone, but if she can pull, Kyle Shanahan. All right. Should we talk about college baseball?
We should. Before we do that, of course, shout out to Bird Dog Shorts. Love my Bird Dog shorts. We're going to be going in Vegas, taping all our fantasy football episodes. That's going to be super fun. And of course, I'm going to be super dry, super cool in my Bird Dogs shorts, just day after day after day of wearing these Bird Dog shorts. Can't get enough of these guys. You get the mesh short ones, the khaki ones, even the joggers are pretty awesome. But I'm hooked on built-in liners. I don't know what I've done with the rest of my life that I wasn't using built-in liners. Again, if you're a bowling coach looking to get a little side action, again, consenting, of course, and don't ruin your career, but you would do it in Bird Dog shorts because they're comfortable, they're breezy. You don't need to. Yeah, normally if you're a bowling coach, you probably you're wearing some shorts, you stand over that vent, get a little cool breeze up there. You don't need that cool breeze when you're rocking the Bird Dog shorts. Anti-stink sweat wicking fabric. You cannot beat it. Stay cool and dry all day. Birddogs.com/pool. Get the free Yeti style tumbler. Birddogs.com/pool for a free Yeti style tumbler. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you. Noah, we were talking a couple episodes ago, or last time we had you on, the Rocco's Pizza Jello Shot Challenge, and it has been a bloodbath. LSU dominating the Jello Shot Challenge, and it turned. They probably didn't even need the help, but the Raising Cane's founder, CEO Todd Graves,
solid guy.
What did he buy? Like 6,000 shots?
Yeah, it was 6,000 shots that he bought.
Is that? Are we?
That's insane.
All right,
he set a Guinness World Record, I think, for most shots ever bought.
Noah's an honorable person and will probably almost certainly have an opinion on this. Do you think this is outside the boundaries of fair play in the Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge?
Yeah, I think it is, and it's happened before with Arkansas, with Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. The three
seems
other
like it's fair game
fan bases that have done it. So it's like, sure,
bring in
like,
the heavy hitters.
I don't love it, but it's been done before, and I mean, more power to them.
You know who loves it is old Steve Rocco. When he opens up a Rocco and new Rocco's in Duluth next week, he's going to be loving this thing because he's turned this thing into a gold mine.
Oh my God!
I mean,
he's charging.
Yeah, go ahead and put one in Fayetteville, Baton Rouge, and Starkville.
Dude, he's on his way to doing that.
Yeah.
Where did Tiger Woods went to Stanford, right?
Yeah.
And Tiger Woods doesn't have can't buy 6,000 shots for the Stanford
fucking
baseball
John Elway
team
with his fucking horse teeth.
Yeah, come on. Well, John Elway would probably drink most of them.
There's an Elway steakhouse probably in Omaha.
No, I don't see Chris Long doing anything for this UVA showing.
Peyton Manning was there on site, and he didn't do anything in the bar for Tennessee. That's been the most disappointing fan base there.
Yeah, he probably bought 2 shots cheap.
I mean, it's an easy thing too, because I believe the proceeds all go to a food bank. Which
come on. They're all the shots.
Proceeds from every shot sold goes to, well, it doesn't say 100%.
Okay, that's where Rocco gets you.
Oh, Rocco's edge.
Rocco. I've never met Rocco, but every Rocco I've known that's been involved in some sort of thing is getting a taste. I don't know a Rocco that's not getting a little taste.
The house needs a little bit.
2% go to the food banks. 98% goes to Rocco.
Is As Uncle Money used to say, you get a little bit, I get a little bit.
Yeah, the food bank is what he calls the register at Rocco's Pizza.
It's 2% that they didn't have before. All right.
All right, so let's break this down. It's a $5 Jello shot.
$4.50, right?
No, $5.
Okay.
$5.
Assuming they're using what, like some sort of plastic bottle liquor.
Yeah, it's not
100%. This is
All right,
this
so
is
how
super
many-
cheap. This is super cheap.
How many
Even-
Jello shots are you like? What do you think the cost per Jello shot is?
$1.50
No, less.
with labor. With
Colby
everything.
comes from a bartending experience.
refrigerator-
I used to bartend. I never made these little drinks,
They
but
gotta
I mean,
make them, right?
All right, so
but I mean, look, you have to make it, but this is Jello. This is simple. I mean, you can get a thing of
probably-
Jello for
yeah.
like 10 cents at the grocery
I was
store.
going to say they're probably making them in the big tubs too. It's all right. So let's just say Sean.
Honestly,
Rocco's,
if you guys
and
want a
Rocco's
great
would never
story-
have it illegal working there.
$3
If you guys want a great story, my baseball team did this when we were in school. We made Jello shots. We'd sell them at a couple of bucks a pop. Everybody that came in, I mean, you would go over there and you'd buy a couple. We made a couple $100 every night. We had a party every weekend.
So $3.50 profit minimum
Yes.
per Jello shot. How much are they donating to the food bank?
50 cents.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be $1 at least.
No,
If you
haven't.
no,
I think
no,
it's
no.
10%.
The economy is not booming in
10%.
Nebraska.
Hold on.
Come on.
It is at Rocco's. You're selling.
If they gave
You
a
can take
dollar,
over the town.
If they all right, so how many Jello shots total have been sold? Somewhere around 35,000, we'll say. 30. If you're not writing a check for $35,000,
Yeah, you're right. Maybe $1. That sounds about right.
come on,
Dude,
you made 150K on
Rocco's
Jello
got
shots.
a lot of angles.
All right, so but also real quick, just LSU in years past, I don't believe. I mean, they lapped the entire field
Oh, they destroyed
by
it.
some. So
Set a record.
kudos
above
to you,
and beyond.
LSU.
Congrats to LSU. And when we were joking around with the handicap, and I think we were on LSU. That clip was pretty fun there. Getting to the picks itself, Noah, what have you been noticing trends wise in Omaha? I alluded to it up top, but feels a bit chalky overall.
Yeah, it has been chalky, but they've been close games.
Mm-hmm.
The favorites are 8-2 on the money line. The dogs are 7-3 on the run line.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
we've had a lot of these games come down to one run. Only 3 games that haven't. So it's been a very entertaining College World Series, and a lot of them. I think it's perfect for a sports fan because whether you're a fan of Colby, big defensive football kind of guy, but in baseball you get the pitchers duels, you get an offensive.
Yes.
I call them blitzkriegs, but kind of like there's a mix of both because the starting pitchers in this tournament have been dominant this year. And the bullpens have been shaky, and they've been giving up quite a few runs. So you don't get the overs at the end of the day, but you're getting a lot of runs scored in a short amount of time from the 5th inning on, basically.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my Tennessee Vols, they were my futures bet, didn't get the W.
Yeah.
Play close, but we did have a. What were you gonna say?
I forgot to mention the under is 10-0 on the opening line.
That's
closing
crazy.
line 8-1-1.
Wow. So just pound these unders.
I love to do this to my children sometimes, and Noah being so young, it's hard for me to not do this. Noah, who invented Blitzkrieg?
Ooh.
Germany.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
you went
German.
you went to college. It was an
I
easy
studied 3 years of German in high
one.
school.
Oh, wow.
okay.
Uh-oh.
So that's actually like a little too much German to learn. No, we'll get to that later.
Fines.
One year's fine. 3 years, we're asking a couple questions.
Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, they get to the dirty stuff in
I
year
need
one.
3 years of German for my after school activities. What are you gonna do there?
Unless you were just trying to get to Beer Fest or Oktoberfest or whatever.
Yeah,
the
you
fuck
wanted
it
to
is.
drink
Yeah.
beer out of a shoe.
Yeah.
I get it.
I brought up the Vols because the Tennessee head coach pulled
yes.
essentially a Mike Leach in the Vols dugout, and you're rocking the Leach shirts.
There we go.
Got those over at the SGPN store. Fun way to celebrate Coach. Loved him, and we're not talking about calling their fat little girlfriends. He actually turned over all the chairs in the dugouts. The video is pretty good. We got it over at youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. If you can pull that up.
He was trying to get it going,
yeah.
but it just look. I understand the motivation here. You're trying to get your team going, right? This is
But it's just play it. It's funny. it's funny in that he turns over the chairs, but he's not going nuts. Like when Leach, it was dramatic because he was like folding the chairs closed and tossing them. The Vols coach is just like politely tipping them over as to not damage the chairs.
It's true. Leach did
and
a
they're
much
like
better
bar
job.
stools. Yeah,
Leach was like putting them back,
them back.
Like you have to make an effort to go. Actually,
I think
sit
I
down
made
again.
this comment in the moment, but again, only younger youth sports experience. But when you go and you show your back to the team in the form of cleaning up, like, oh, I'm not even going to talk to you. I'm going to go pick up those soccer balls. That's just, it's cold. You're just trying to be cold.
They
to your
didn't
team.
get that message.
It didn't work.
Score
Right?
any runs.
Much like when the coach goes out and gets the technical and the team proceeds to still get their ass kicked. Sometimes the shot doesn't work.
Not really getting it done. What about TCU, Noah? They've been. What's your take on TCU in this College World Series? Superstitious team, which immediately I want to support them, fellow superstitious. The Horned Frogs, obviously fun in football, but what's going on with the college baseball team?
Well, and real quick, Noah, they must be listeners of the program because they seem to have some sort of Courtney Love celebration.
Oh.
After a nice offensive play, they go right to the 2 fingers under the nose, aka kid style for those older.
a disgusting act.
Yeah, so I mean, this team, they've got quite a few superstitions that they've been running through the second half of the season. As we've mentioned, I think they're like 21-3 in their last 24 games. So in that stretch, I believe they quoted it was like 23 games in a row they've worn the same batting practice tops, and it's gotten to the point where like there's just a stench on the shirts. And when they take them off, they've piled them up in the dugout. And the
stiff.
ESPN reporter, Danny Wexelman, she goes, "Yeah, I'm just not going over there. It just reeks." So over there, you have the batting practice tops superstition. Then when they went to Fayetteville for the Arkansas Regional, the team ate iHop for breakfast on every game day, and Trey Richardson, their second baseman, their 5-hole hitter. He had 2 home runs coming into the day. He hit 3 home runs, 2 grand slams. He had 11 RBIs, tied an NCAA record. And he goes, "I guess I'm eating IHOP before every game." So that's turned into a thing. They had IHOP.
I got to hit up my buddy. I got to hit up my buddy who's the AD there because that's nice. That's they're cutting back. They're doing cutbacks, right? I mean,
I was actually going a different direction.
Yeah?
For those who don't think baseball players are athletes, if you can throw down IHOP every morning.
No. He said in Fayetteville. In Fayetteville, that's like a 5-star restaurant.
No, it's a lot of food though. I mean,
that Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity.
Jogging down to first base after an IHOP breakfast. I
Just
mean,
picturing those
God
hard
bless 'em.
chocolate chip pancakes my kids used to get. Just
So they rolled in Fayetteville. They came back home to Fort Worth. They had IHOP before those 2 games that they won there. Then when they went to Omaha, they didn't have IHOP prior to the first game. The nearest IHOP is actually like a 16-minute drive outside of the downtown area.
How's that even possible?
And during Omaha, like during the College World Series, it's just bustling. So it's a hard drive back and forth. So they were just like, it's not worth it. They lose the first game to Oral Roberts. They do it the next 2 games. They won. So it's just nuts. Then the third base coach, the last one, this one's maybe the most insane. He has worn the same sweatshirt since their run in the Big 12 tournament when they won the championship in that tournament. He's wearing a sweatshirt in like 95-degree heat in the middle of America in Omaha right now.
crazy.
I love baseball superstition.
Yeah.
And I love
awesome.
how in they get on this.
I'm hoping Rocco got into those IHOP franchises in Omaha. He's cashing in.
Hey, Rocco.
Oh, Rocco's anyone serving a pancake in Omaha or a shot. Rocco's getting a little taste.
Let me get a taste of that bat.
One other thing that I think is cool from this TCU team that just kind of popped up in my head. The player that's been playing the best for them right now in the postseason is Cole Fontenelle, and he's actually Native American, and his roots go back to the Omaha tribe. So there's a forest called the Fontenelle Forest, and they went and checked that out.
How did we now?
So it's kind of just like all working out for this TCU Frogs team.
They're winning it all.
I mean, come on.
Hold on.
For the listeners and myself of the college baseball experience, it feels kind of good. This is Colby mentioned about Florida being team of destiny. the things that we're finding out about this TCU team, that's the kind of feel that I have with this guy.
Rocco's nephew, Fontanelle, Native American, maybe someone who needed to disappear in the Midwest.
All right. Speaking of TCU, what's up,
before we get to the picks, I was gonna say, what was your prediction on the how are we all doing at this point? How do we feel about it?
About the
our initial predictions of who we thought were going to make the final.
Oh no, I'm
and where we stand.
I had Tennessee,
TCU's
so
looking
not
good.
Not good. Okay, what about you, Colby?
TCU's looking good,
Oh,
but
nice.
That's about it for me.
See, I believe Noah and I, the sharps in the room, had TCU and LSU playing for the championship.
Don't want to jinx it, Ryan.
No, jinxing it.
And you had TCU, LSU. You flipped it from me. I had Wake Forest and Florida. So we're both right there. We're both alive.
We're like
we
holding hands.
Four.
Yes. Some of us got it right.
Some of us got it right. That's why you're the expert, Noah. If you want an expert, tune into the USFL podcast tomorrow. Again, 27-13 ATS. Strongest.
Wow.
I am the greatest USFL handicapper in America.
And I have noticed that, you know, for one of these spring leagues, all of a sudden Green's getting very interested in the United States Football League.
Oh yeah, the more money I win, the more games
he might
I
buy a
watch.
franchise.
I'm addicted.
How clear is the picture of himself in the mirror? Very clear. Let's go.
Well, Ryan, you and Noah will have to lead the way here. 11 a.m. Florida laying -160 against the Horned Frogs. TCU +130. Total sitting at 11.5. I mean, Noah, you laid out a great case. All the intangibles seem to be pointing TCU's way, but I know you've been a Gator supporter through this process. What's your take on this game? Is TCU a live frog, as the kids like to say?
There you go. I like
See
that.
what I did?
Yeah. So I'll run through kind of what I think. I handicap most college baseball games and MLB games in that sense by pitching. And college baseball, I mean, you don't really find out the starting pitcher until maybe like 2 hours before game time. Bullpens are pivotal. However, for this game, I have a pretty good idea of who's going to start for TCU and Florida. For TCU, Cole Klecker, he only threw 87 pitches on Friday. Now, technically, that's short rest for a college baseball pitcher, but it's the College World Series now, and this is technically MLB rest on 4 days. So I think that TCU is going to run out their best starting pitcher, and Klecker, he's got a 3.32 ERA in the postseason. He's made 4 starts in the postseason with a 3.4 strikeout to walk ratio. So he's a pitch to contact guy, and this is a very talented Florida Gators lineup. And if they're putting the ball in play, they're driving it. For Florida, the Gators, they've only played 2 games in Omaha, so their third starter is good to go. And actually, he's a guy that you guys have fallen in love with lately. It's Jack Caglione. He hasn't pitched in over 18 days, but I mean, this guy, when he's on, he's on. But when he's off, he's quite cold. In his last 6 starts, he's got a 2.37 ERA in his 2 postseason starts. And his last 6 starts, he has a 1.61 ERA in his last 6 starts, a 2.37 in his 2 postseason starts, with 5 walks in those 2 starts, which has kind of been his kryptonite. He struggles with the control. He's a hard throwing lefty, strikeout plays. But I think that TCU might be able to get into this Florida bullpen, and TCU has a better chance of winning this first game than they do the second game. And Florida, they're better set up to win that second game when they bring out Brandon Sproat on full or better rest than here today. They're going to try to win this game with their third best starting pitcher and then have their full rotation game 1, game 2, game 3 in the College World Series finals. Ideally, if you win this game against TCU, that's able to happen. However, I think that TCU at a +130 price, they're playing with their backs up against the wall. They've now won 2 straight elimination games.
Let's go.
I feel like Florida knows that they're able to and they can afford a loss. I'd take TCU at the +130 here.
So are we worried that Jack Caglione here for Florida is going to have to meet? Yes, there's rumors.
This is a friend of ours. He's a friend of Rocco's.
The rumor was he dropped off an envelope at Rocco's. It was a little light. He was supposed the protection money for the iHop. Are we worried about that kind of stuff? No, I mean, you don't need to talk me into TCU. You did a good job doing it, but of course I'm going to go with the Horned Frogs here. Now, Florida and TCU play, and then they have another game right after, or when is their next scheduled game after?
Yeah, so technically it's still double elimination between the two sides of the bracket. Florida and TCU are the one side of the semifinal. We'll
Okay.
talk about Wake Forest and LSU next. But Florida's 2-0, TCU they're 2-1. They would need to beat Florida twice to move on to the College World Series finals this weekend.
So, like you're saying there, Florida realizes they kind of have a cushion built in, and again, TCU backs against the wall elimination game. Yeah, I like them plus 130. Kramer, what about you? You're the college baseball sharp. I should defer to you.
Well, this entire time, it's already been worked out in the simulation. I found a sick video of a frog destroying a gator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
We've
I
been
just
watching
watched
it.
That's an
it. I just
ultimate
watched
upset
it
right
right
there.
now.
Yeah, ultimate
Yeah.
upset. So yeah, based on that, I'm a wildlife guy.
Yes.
Also, TCU is the team I picked to advance into the championship, and as you know, Sean, fellow sharp in the old handicapping space, you want to take the dogs before you take the favorites, especially in this volatile time of college baseball.
Easy in the YouTube chat wants to know, Noah, 18 days, pretty long break. Any nervousness of rust issues as a college baseball pitcher? 18 days, almost too much rest.
Yeah, 100%. And that's another angle that is in support of taking TCU here, because in general, Cags doesn't pitch too deep in most games. I think he's got like 8 starts where he hasn't even gotten past the 4th inning. So when he's off, he really is. And I think that might be, just one more reason why to fade. Florida
I saw
here in
Noah
this game.
getting into it with some fellow members of the media over his nickname.
Why?
Oh yeah, I mean Jeff Passan, you want to
Yeah, let's hear it,
the
Noah.
engine here. I mean, MLB Big J's, they come in during Omaha during the College World Series, like they've been following the sport for the full season long. His nickname is Jack Tani, going off of Shohei Ohtani. Where's Tani in his last name here? I mean,
He's Cags, clearly.
he's always been by Cags, and then there was a new nickname that was the Sultan of Swamp, which it's the swamp in Florida. I mean, Jack, there's just nothing there in Jack Tani. It's not one of my favorites that have been thrown out there. And in general, they throw all the MLB guys from ESPN to jump in here, do the coverage. And when you're calling a walk-off home run in the top of the 9th, that's just
wow.
come on.
We didn't even discuss it. I mean, and by the way, I was watching today. Carl Ravitch looked like he was just fucking on vacation. That smile it's the same look I get. The kids are not with me. I'm down in Mexico sitting next to a pool with literally no cost next to the alcohol. I'm grinning ear to ear. I'm going to walk down to the beach and buy some weed from a random Mexican dude who's also offering horseback rides.
2 for 1.
Amazing.
My friend.
Anyway, Ravitch had that smile on his face, like he could give 2 fucks about the baseball being played.
For clarity, like I've never been a hater of Ravitch. However, the very first game this year, he called a walk-off home run in the top of the 9th, which any baseball fan knows that's just not possible. I've just
Even
been
as a
able to,
non-baseball fan, I know that.
yeah, and I've just been able to pick apart some of his misspeaking. And I mean, if you're looking for some entertainment just on announcers, I've been basically tweeting out every wrong thing that he's said lately. And I did it twice tonight.
Maybe the Omaha hotels are booked up. He's not getting good sleep or something. Maybe he's at the Econo Lodge or something.
Colby,
He needs to go to iHop.
no, you and Noah are very similar.
Yeah. He's a mini Colby.
That's so beautiful.
Colby, what about you? Florida TCU. What do you? I'm assuming you're taking the
I
Gators.
think Mike Tyson said it best when he said, "I got the heart of lions, tigers, and frogs. Give me the frogs all day."
Yeah,
We actually have Tyson weighing in on this matchup here.
I broke my back.
Oh shit.
What do you mean by that? You
My
broke
back is broken.
what? A vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Carl Ravitch would have fucked that up. Carl Ravitch wouldn't have gotten
Jim
that
Gray.
done.
Jim Gray,
He's getting
legend.
in there.
Pro, real pro.
Late game, 4:00 p.m. Pacific. Wake Forest squaring off against LSU. Noah, what's your take on this game? What are we doing here?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been preaching it. It hasn't come to fruition, but I mean, this LSU pitching is the real question of the team. They had a miracle performance in Ackenhausen today, who hadn't started a game all season long. He throws 6 innings scoreless, and he had never gone more than 4 innings in a game this entire season. So they're going to need to build another one of those pitching performances here so they can get their stud in Paul Skeens back on MLB rest to throw him on Thursday in a second game against Wake Forest. So my advice here is throw a dart at a dartboard and list a couple of LSU pitchers' names. That's your best guess at the pitcher here for this game. If you want a serious take, it might be Christian Little or Blake Money. I don't know. But Wake Forest, they have a whole batch of arms that have started ball games this year for them. And they've all, I mean, this team has been truly amazing. And their pitching is really deep. I think the top two candidates to start this game for the Deeks are Seth Keener and Sean Sullivan. Lots of people think that Keener's going to start here. He has a 2.86 ERA and 3 postseason appearances. However, I think that the Deeks are very analytical driven. They have a whole pitching lab. I mean, there's a couple of YouTube videos on it that go in depth on it. It's truly kind of amazing. They put a lot of money into it. I mean, people from the public can sign up and just use it, but there's a bunch of camera angles in here. They've really built all of these kids up to be very, very good pitchers. And they look into a lot of the advanced analytics that I'm unable to get. So I'm not able to pull up stats against left-handed pitching for a lot of the hitters in college baseball. However, with the rumor going around that LSU seems to struggle against left-handed pitching, I did a little bit more digging.
Yes.
And all you're looking for is just to poke a hole in a couple of these teams. There's 4 teams remaining, and this is the second best offense in college baseball. Let me walk you through this. In the Tigers' last 5 games against an SEC lefty or Josh Hartle from Wake Forest on Monday, who had 9 strikeouts in a 6-inning outing, only giving up 4 hits. LSU, again, the number 2 scoring offense, only behind Wake Forest, 9.2 runs per game.
Jesus, Ryan.
Sorry, it's for the show. Don't worry.
In their last 5 games against left-handed pitching, LSU's 0-5 against a left-handed starter, scoring 2 runs against Auburn and Tommy Vale's start, 5 runs against Georgia and Liam Sullivan's, 4 runs against Arkansas when they pitched Hagen Smith and Hunter Holland, 4 runs against Texas A&M and Will Johnson's start, and then 2 runs against Wake Forest against Josh Hartle.
So it sounds
if you
like
add all of that up, they're
Yeah.
only averaging 3.4 runs a game, and this is an offense that averages 9.2. So Sean Sullivan being the lefty, very quality pitcher. I think they pitch him, and I think Wake Forest has the advantage once again here against LSU.
So what do you? It sounds like Wake Forest gonna pitch a lefty. LSU struggles with the lefties. Wake Forest. What do you think the line is going to be here, Noah?
Well, yesterday or Monday when these two teams played, it opened at -150. Wake Forest was originally bet up by early bettors, which you would believe that in a small niche market, those are the sharps. And then
Or guys
later
who
on,
the coach called them before they placed the bet.
Yes. And later on, LSU gained 80% of the bet. And I assume that was mostly more of the public. And Wake Forest dipped under the -150 price. And again, today, LSU was the public bet against Tennessee. And they were opening as a dog, and they were bet all the way up to the favorite. So I think that you wait to play this game. And I mean, by then you'll know who's starting for Wake Forest as well, and LSU for that matter. And you'll be able to adjust a little bit better. But I would take Wake Forest like an hour before first pitch.
You can't take them.
Really?
So I am going to play a video.
Yes.
And I like Sean, you won't be able to necessarily say, I'll put it over here. So you can see
I'll keep an eye on it.
Well, I know.
But basically there's I would say this is an interesting way. You know what it gives me vibes of? Remember when Jameis and the Saints were celebrating in the preseason?
Yes.
Now imagine if it was like that, but if Jameis jumped on one of his teammates' face and started skull face fucking him.
What?
Ready?
All right. Can we get some audio? Oh man.
Yeah.
Let me play that again. Hold on. Let's see.
What is that?
One more time. This is
YouTube.com.
This is Wake Forest
Podcast. Again, it's been a while since I played team sports, but I don't remember that celebration.
Yeah.
I'd say this: young people are different. The pandemic was difficult for everyone.
Yeah.
But they certainly looked like they maybe blur the lines in the locker.
Hey, maybe they're more than teammates. Maybe they're more than teammates.
They are a very funky bunch. I'll tell you, it's a baseball team. I mean, baseball players are quite weird, and mostly the pitchers are just a weird crop in general. But there's some weird stories about this Wake Forest team.
Well, it's even though it's weird, not scaring me off. I'm gonna take Wake Forest laying the number. LSU can't hit lefties. Our expert told us this. I like Noah Bieniek. I like the college baseball experience. I'm laying the juice. Shout out to the chat. Chat is lit. Terrell has been in here. Easy, Avetta. All the OGs here in the chat. Jake Paquin wanted to ask me where Muskogee, Michigan was. I think I maybe mixed in.
I think you butchered the name. Were you thinking of Muskegon?
Yeah, Muskegon. That's what I was.
There you go.
It was just a random
Have you
fun
been
sounding
there
town.
by chance, or just know it?
No, I just
Michigan Adventures there.
I'm a worldly
amusement park. That's why I asked.
I'm a worldly man there.
Sean wouldn't be able to point to his hand to tell you where he's been in Michigan. Noah.
Kramer, what are you doing? Are you going LSU and the dog?
I'm sitting over here looking at my massive list of sweet NFL futures, and right in the middle, like a needle in a haystack, there's a future for LSU to win it all, and there's a future for TCU to win it all.
Oh,
so let's just compound the problem. Yeah, I already got my action on TCU. When the LSU when it opens up, I'll be all over it, and it's going to be a purple finale out there in Nebraska.
For what it's worth, we're recording this we started at 8:30 Pacific. The game ended at 8, so not much time for it to come.
You
out.
mentioned though that LSU already pitched Ockenhausen, right?
Yeah, Ackenhausen. Yep.
That's why Wake Forest is going to send the Blitzkrieg into Omaha to take down Ockenhausen. All right. Give me Wake, even though I'm a little disturbed after watching that video, but.
Hey, a couple guys having fun in the locker room. Who are we to judge?
There was a video like after they beat, I think it was either they beat LSU or Stanford. There's two kids running out, and their like top 4 buttons are unbuttoned, and you can just see bare chest down to the stomach. And it was just like, okay, that's Wake Forest for you.
That's good. Those kids are having fun. Noah, before we close things out
you
here,
may know my private school pussy bit.
any futures worth hopping on here?
Well,
at this
market at this point, it's pretty tight, and I think that LSU or not LSU, I think that Florida has a shot to turn over Wake Forest if they get there into the championship. I mean, you're facing a TCU team. They're going to be fine for game 1 with Cole Klecker, but then their starting pitcher wouldn't be able to. Their second starting pitcher wouldn't be on appropriate rest, and they'd have to piece together a bullpen game against Florida's ace. So I think Florida's for sure going to come out of this right side of the bracket and face either Wake Forest or LSU. And I think that Florida has both the offense and the pitching to get it done if that's what you're looking for. I know that Wake Forest is the betting favorite right now. I don't know if that market's come back out yet since the end of the LSU Tennessee game, but I think that if there's one of the 4 teams still viable for a bet, it would be the Gators.
What about if you had a lock here, Noah, as we close things out for the Wednesday slate? What do you like the best out of what we've hit on so far today?
I would go with a. I'm thinking about whether I want to take the under or go with a plus money play. I think I'll go with the under in Florida and TCU minus 110.
Okay.
However, that TCU plus 130 is enticing as well.
So what I'm hearing is parlay the under 11.5 with TCU plus 130 with Wake Forest minus 150.
No,
that's my lock. My lock's a 3-team parlay. Kramer, what do you got for the good folks? Lock it up.
It's TCU. Ever since I saw the first,
if I was going to give out a mini lock, that would be my
classic Major League Baseball teams. They get to second and they do one of those like Bash Brother, like, boom, smash my bicep.
The smelly
Not
jerseys.
TCU. They go 2 fingers up, just like slow right across the nose.
They can smell the success.
I mean, come on, guys. You're in college. Like everyone understands what you're doing. It's like the shocker thing at Wichita
Well, we
State.
were also having a discussion about what base and whether it made sense to second base.
Do kids even know that?
There's a whole other.
Yeah, like third base. I wonder if kids even talk about third base. I don't see triples anymore.
Colby, what do you got? What's your best bet for the Wednesday college baseball slate?
Got to jump on TCU here. There's something about this team, the way they're playing.
No, they are the most fun.
Yeah, go with those Horned Frogs, man. I think that's the best play. I think
Hypno Toads in the house. Let's go. Thank you as always, Noah, for calling in here. Make sure you follow Noah on Twitter at 70 spelled out, then the number 7, then NB. Subscribe to the College Baseball Experience. Check him out on YouTube, giving out tons and tons of free picks. We have the College Baseball Picks page over on the sportsgamblingpodcast.com and the SGPN app. Of course, make sure to check out Colby as he counts down and previews every college football team. Tomorrow we got USFL picks, and then Kramer, we are starting our fantasy football series.
It's
Top
exciting.
10. It's here. Toss us a nice rating and review. Turn those downloads on.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green, and he is Ryan.
Yeah, and if you want to check out the sweet video of the frog eating the alligator, at Kramer Centric on Twitter.
Kramer, let it ride. Thanks, Noah. Good job.